And again, this was passed March 24, 1997, Roberto Casas Park. As you all know, this is located west 32nd Avenue between 78th Street and 79th Street at the west end of our city. Again, I think enough's been said. People, public servants, your job is to, if you're somewhere in Tallahassee, is to bring funds to our city. If you're here, is to do what you have to do, because that is what we're here for, to serve the public. So again, I ask for your support on this item.
At the end of the calendar.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Council Vice President Gonzalez, second by Councilwoman Fuente. Please call the roll.
Mr. Hernandez? Ms. Garcia Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Lozano? Yes. Mr. Samuel?
Yes.
Mr. Carable?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fuente?
Just a second.
Ms. Fuente?
When we're done with the item, when we're done with
Mr.
the,
Gonzalez?
I'll let you make comments.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Okay. There was a few people that wanted to make some comments. We're going to go ahead and allow you some time now. Just please be very brief, because we have other people here for other items. Mr. Ace, name and address for the record.
Jose Alvin, 788
Por favor.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I want to talk on the Roberto Casas Park. I remember as an employee for 30 years, a lot of kids would ask me, build that park. He was a city clerk. I would tell him, Walker Park. He donated like all the land. And I know like Roberto Casas had a real good reputation. And there's two people that come to mind. Bucky Dent Park, which all he ever did was go to Hialeah High. And Ted Hendricks, which all he did was play professional football. And as most people know, he had a problem with alcohol. It was very known. My question to you is, why are we picking Casas first? Why not like who did less? Like Bucky Dent did a lot less.
Yes, Mayor. Yes, the Mayor's going to answer you.
I believe that Bucky Dent or Ted Hendricks were not elected officials. I believe that they didn't have the political clout to get their names put there. Somewhere down the line, some people in this council or mayor thought that Bucky Dent was important enough because he was a Hialeah boy to name that after him, and the same thing with Ted Hendricks. So that's the difference there. They were not elected officials. They did not have the political clout to get something voted on, and again, because of their doings while they were in office as public servants.
So the ordinance is only, okay, so the ordinance is only if you're a political person.
Yes, it's on the papers that you have in your hands. Elected officials.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah, but does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just curious because I never thought Bucky Dent should have a park. I think someone like, we had like Cy Eimer, another one was Dan DeLoach. I think he was an incredible public servant.
Thank you, Pepper. Ms. Green, name and address for the record.
7835 West 18th Lane, Hialeah, Florida, Roxana Green. Thank you, Mayor and Ms. Councilperson, for doing this. My father fully felt that nobody alive should ever be named. What I would like to ask is, I don't know the answer of this. We have other citizens of Hialeah. Mr. Senator Roberto Casas brought in $3.8 million at the time to help bring into the city. I understand for the park, not the buildings. I agree with this entire council on that vote, not to name the building, but possibly the park. If not a problem. But we have other citizens that have been named streets and other buildings that are not necessarily politicians, like the three athletes, at Mylander Stadium is what I call it because I'm old, and Bucky Dent and etc. Are we not going to unname these, in the next meeting or in the following meeting, because there are three athletes that maybe y'all didn't root for the Yankees or something, and then are you going to follow through with removing some of the names of some of the streets of some people that have not lived up to? We've had citizens, for instance, Mr. Raymond Orsini, whose funeral was yesterday, who arrived from Cuba in 1928, who had a real estate office. And Orsini passed away on Thursday at 6 in the morning. Mr. John Boyd, who was on the Supreme Court of the state of Florida, born and raised, as myself, City of Hialeah.
Ms.
Okay.
Queen, we're just addressing these issues
But
right
these
now.
are other people
Because
that
we're talking
serve,
about-
as you said, served Hialeah and serve Hialeah well, like the athletes, but a different way. You know, can we name them and stop naming after people alive? Is all I'm gonna say. That's it.
Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes, Councilman Hernandez.
Just a quick suggestion, and to anyone out in the audience, if anyone has any suggestion, as people have done in the past with all of our offices, I assume, just provide a biography of said person, and we'll take it into consideration.
I've called for the last 2 weeks.
I'm sorry?
I've called for the last 2 weeks and sent emails.
I haven't received any email. I received a phone call of yours today, but I was with Mr. Santana, and he took all of my afternoon.
I understand.
He was there. He knows. Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record.
It's not like this.
Santana, 655 East 26th Street. My family moved to the city in 1955. Probably longer than anybody on your council has been living in the city of Hialeah. My mother still lives in the same house. And I have to tell you, I've talked to elected officials all over the county and retired elected officials today with regard to the resolutions that you've just passed. And to me, it's an abomination. You don't have to agree, I know you don't, because clearly you voted differently. I think it sets a very bad precedent to unname something. If it is the case that you don't want to name something for somebody for a reason, then maybe it should be because they're still alive. And there's still time left in their life for them to do something maybe this little embarrassing. You know, and that has happened. And streets have had to be unnamed, and buildings, never. And I talked to historians in the county, never anywhere else but now in Hialeah. Another thing for Hialeah to look bad about. We're already one of the top 10 worst cities, run cities in the country, according to some polling that has gone on and some information that has been published. And yet, we're going to do this, another black eye in the city's history. To me, 6 mayors have been mayors during the time that my family has lived in this city. It's a sad day, in my opinion, what you have done today. I understand you have your reasons, whatever they are. I disagree. A lot of my peers disagree. Everybody in my family disagrees. My 91-year-old mother at home is in shock that you have done this today, as are former county commissioners, current county commissioners, commissioners from South Miami, Coral Gables, Miami, and the county, that you have done this today. And I am just absolutely horrified. Instead, maybe you could have your building and zoning people looking at why people are building pools without pulling any permits. You know, why code enforcement isn't looking at people who are double, triple, quadruple renting. I think my mother's the only person without an illegal, well, maybe 2 people, without an illegal apartment in her house. You know, it seems to me that that's far more important than unnaming a building. But what do I know? Only since 1955 has this family, 8 children grew up here, 8 children graduating from local schools. This is just, I'm sorry to say that I'm from Hialeah.
Ms.
That's all I
President,
can say.
I wanna reply. I mean, everybody has the right to opinion when it comes to, I guess other elected officials. I guess they're in okay that they have names and buildings for elected officials, but that's not what I will respond to. You have the right to your opinion.
Oh, thank you.
But I will respond to the part about the so-called workers-run city, according to some article. You know what 24/7 is, Wall Street? Where you're getting your information from?
It's not the only one saying that.
Are you, because that's the one you're talking about. It's not showing me the other one. So if you're gonna come here with all due respect and talk about embarrassed of your city, it's a shame, because I'm very proud of my city. Yo estoy súper orgulloso de mi ciudad. And again, about the issue, I respect everybody's issue, but do not come here and talk about a guy who's in his pajamas, which I try to find out who he was, takes whatever stats, and you know what I think it is, and I'll be honest, you said being for a long time, when you pick on the city of Miami, who's a great city, everybody wants to come here. Yeah, you're smiling. and Hialeah, which are two large cities run by Latin politicians, Latin leaders. I think it's a little racist is what I think it is. So,
That's messed up.
Name and address for the record, sir.
Uneducated.
Fuera, fuera.
Name and address for the record, please.
Julio Rodriguez, 754 West 33rd Street.
How can we help you, sir?
No, I wanted to speak on the issue with the Senator Roberto Casas Park.
Okay.
Senator Roberto Casas was the first Cuban American elected. He's a Florida legislator.
Yes.
He paved the way for everyone sitting in that council. I don't think he's ever done anything to for anybody to criticize him for on a personal level. He's never been investigated. He hasn't brought shame to the city. And the man is 82 years old. You know, God knows how much time he has left, and this is what we're going to do to him. Someone will help bring funds to build that park. But, you know, and this is all it's doing is dividing the city for the most part. And we went after Angelo Martinez, but doesn't Julio Robaina's mother have public housing unit named after her?
Yep.
So now we're picking and choosing.
They're living elected officials and families.